Japanese companies are holding more than $2 trillion. Yep, $2 trillion in cash. While the domestic economy there has not only stopped growing, but is actually declining. So those companies are now buying foreign firms. Bloomberg reporting that today, that those takeovers could top $60 billion this year. That's almost double the $37 billion that was a record back in 2006. Joining us now to talk about these deals, Sachin Shah. He's merger arbitrage strategist at Capstone Global Markets. Sachin, good to have you back with us.
Thank you, Carol. Happy Tuesday to you guys.
Happy Tuesday. Good to,
kind of a Monday.
Good to jump into the week. Get one day already under our belt.
Perform on Monday.
Yeah. Let's talk about Japan, because we did have this story. I mean, is that where we're going to see a majority of deals happening, what, in the next 12 months or so?
Yeah, I mean, we've been seeing some incremental deals on and off throughout the whole year. So the premise here is the Japanese economy is essentially mature. Everybody's known that. So they've been reserved in the past on announcing transactions. So we've seen them actually, put money to work. And majority of these companies either have a net cash position or are basically raising debt to basically acquire companies in the U.S. or elsewhere.
So you're talking about Japanese companies that are going out and buying companies. It could be, or mostly, I would guess, internationally focused, right, as far as their sales, because of the problems in Japan right now.
Correct. Internationally focused or in the U.S., right? So if the Japanese, in some cases, have a presence in the U.S., they want to kind of not necessarily double down, but increase their presence. And so we're definitely seeing that kind of across the board from pharmaceuticals. We've seen some transactions in the pharmaceutical space. We saw, Tomy acquire RC2. It's a toy maker, Thomas the Tank Engine. So those kind of companies are being acquired. And so we've seen the activity increase incrementally. What I also believe, something's kind of off the radar. We're going to talk about Sony maybe in a while, but I was talking to Matt earlier about Yahoo Japan, and so everybody's been kind of focusing on Alibaba, Alipay, and disgruntled people. But like Yahoo Japan is something, because they own almost a 35% stake in it, it could be interesting.
Is that the most fun for you as an ARB strategist? I mean, you don't care about a deal like Barnes & Noble where you just buy the stock and go along.
Yes.
That doesn't keep you up with excitement at night, right?
It does, actually. It does? I love what I do, Matt.
All right. But what are some of the cooler ones? I mean, where do you see the most possibilities?
In the Japanese space or in overall?
When you wake up and go to work, what's the coolest deal that you want to talk about with guys at work?
I want to talk about either Barnes & Noble's or L1 or ticker's ID. They're in a deal with Saffron. That spreads really wide. People are nervous about the CFIUS approval process. You have $12 cash on the table. We're waiting for the process to commence. We should find out in the next week or so. That's an opportunity for people that are either looking at event-driven or opportunity for people that are not looking at it, looking at a potential decent risk-reward.
So you mentioned, let's go back though to what's going on in Japan. I mean, Sony, what about Sony? Because you mentioned Sony.
Yes.
I mean, what are you anticipating is going to play? Are they just going to be buying a bunch of companies? Are they a takeover themselves?
Yes, and all those questions, yes. Carol, the reason why, you have to understand kind of where Sony has been. They've been trading, the ADR has been trading about 35, 36. It's trading $10 lower. Some of it relating to the hacking situation with PlayStation that's gotten a lot of, the market as well as customers really upset about the situation and how Stringer has handled that situation. So Stringer has not effectively shown a growth profile for the company. At the end of the day, they have strong, rich content, okay? And so if they can kind of transition better, as some of these other companies that we're talking about, Barnes & Noble's, WMG, Warner Music Group, among others, from old school to new school or new economy per se, they would be successful. And so the premise here is that he has not effectively done that. He has to acquire companies in addition to addressing in an articulate way, Carol, of how he basically sees the company going forward.
Well, certainly keep a close watch on that. We're going to leave it there. Sachin, thank you so much,
Carol.
as always. Love having you
Thanks,
come
Matt.
by. Sachin.